What's good, YouTube? I'm back with another video for you guys. It's been about a month since I uploaded my last CompTIA video, so actually any video at all. Now, no excuses. Been very busy with work and actually trying to get a new certification. And also in my downtime, of course, been enjoying playing some games, guys. Finally got a PS5, so definitely looking forward to God of War, which is coming out this week. So I figured I better make this video today, or next week. I'm probably not going to be able to. But you know what? Let's get on with this CompTIA course. Teach you guys some more stuff. So we're actually on module 1.3. This module is a little boring to me, in my opinion, because we actually went over some of this stuff already. Well, it's gonna be a few things that we already talked about, essentially. So we're gonna go over a lot of connection methods and connections, some of which will seem familiar to you guys. All right, so connection methods. So these are the connection methods here, guys, that are in the CompTIA A+ course. We have USB. I'm sure you guys are familiar with USB. I actually have a USB to Ethernet cable, but hopefully you can see this. I can't see what I'm pointing at. I don't have my camera up, but this is USB, guys. In case you didn't know, but I'm sure you knew what USB was. There's a few other USB types, such as USB Mini, USB B. I'll maybe grab a USB B cable just to show you guys real quick. But there's also Lightning connection, serial interfaces. This is what a serial interface looks like. Serial interfaces are old, and if you could maybe tell, this kind of looks old, guys. But yeah, so we also have NFC, near field communication. If you remember, we did talk about NFC in I think 2 videos ago. We also talked about Bluetooth. Bluetooth, I'm pretty sure you know what that is. It's how you connect various devices, like you can connect your mouse, keyboard, headsets, stuff like that. It lets you do it wirelessly. And last but not least, we have Hotspot. So Hotspot, in case you didn't know, you can essentially use your phone as a wireless connection. Okay, so first connection type, guys, USB. I'm sure you're familiar with USB. It's how we connect our various devices, keyboards, mice, printers. We connect a lot of things with USB devices. The most familiar type of USB is probably this one, USB A. This one is old, USB A, the normal version, but we also have USB A 3.0. Just to point this out, it doesn't say USB A here, but just know that this is USB A but 3.0. It's a lot faster, and you'll notice that instead of just being white inside, it's gonna have that blue connection thing. I do have a 3.0 cable here, if you guys can see this. So let's just look at this part right here. You can see that's blue, so this is USB 3.0, USB A. And on the other side, we have USB B. I told you guys I would show you USB B. You might see this a lot in your IT career, especially during help desk times, technical supports, depending on your job. Like if you're setting up a lot of peripheral devices like printers, these are very popular with printers. If you're setting these up, you will definitely see a lot of these connections right here. So that's USB B. This is actually the newer version of USB B. The older versions just have this part. I'm covering this with my finger, but it's just this part for the older printers. So if you have an older printer and you have this cable, it's not gonna go in, guys. And vice versa. I don't think USB B is on the exam, but it's just good to know that it's popular for printers. I will say that. So like I said, used exclusively for external devices. Mice, keyboard, microphones, webcams, and USB generally expands the function of a computer. So what I mean by that, like if you have a computer, you can turn it on, but can't do anything. So you plug in a mouse to extend the function of a computer. So you can, use the mouse to move stuff around, click around. You could plug in a mic with a USB, which expands the original functions of a computer. So a computer, is not all of this. We have mics, we have, webcams. This is all expanded functions of the computer. So USB is high-speed communication. So I know I said USB-A is a little slower than USB 3.0, but compared to serial interfaces, it's a lot faster. So USB, generally very fast, especially compared to serial interfaces, the older interfaces that we used to connect with. And there's various types of USBs, as you can see here, and as I showed you, there's USB-A, Type B, USB-A 3.0, there's USB Mini, USB Micro, USB Type-C, which is getting very popular nowadays. It's actually a lot faster than USB-A. And we also have USB Micro B. Looks a little strange. It has 2 connections. I haven't really seen too much of these, to be honest. Okay, so this is probably my least favorite part of the test. So please bear with me, guys. I know this might be a little boring, but let's talk about USB. So here's USB-A, like I just showed you, and here's USB Type-C. As you can see, it looks different. It's thinner, of course, and just a little smaller. So let's talk about USB-A. So USB-A is most common. There's a whole bunch of connections on the back of computers, laptops, hubs, etc. There's a lot of USB connections. Like I said, USB-A is high speed, but it does max out at 10 gigabits per second. So used for data transfer and power charging. This is a little, I'm not sure if they will ask about the pins for USB. I just put it in here. But in the older versions, it did have 4 pins. Newer versions, which is the 3.0 generation and, above, so far it has 9 pins. USB Type-C, getting more common, guys, especially with laptops. So since laptops are very, they're smaller form factor, we don't have a lot of space for USB-A. So, we plug in a little more USB Type-Cs into laptops. It's used for both host and other peripheral devices, replacing both USB-A and B. So what this means is like, for example, printers. So a printer, instead of having USB Type-B, it might have USB Type-C on the printer side, and you can also plug it into, on a computer side, USB Type-C. It is more robust than USB-A and can transfer different signals. So it can actually transfer Thunderbolt, DisplayPort, and HDMI within the same connector. So that is one huge benefit to USB-C. And like I said, it's also much faster than USB Type A. And like USB-A is used for both data transfer and power charging. And it has a total of 24 pins. 24 pins inside this little thing. How come we can't put 24 pins inside here? That's what I want to know, So micro USB and mini USB. So micro USB are just micro versions of USB A and B. So if we go to this chart here, we can see USB micro B. So this is just a micro version of that weird connector that I showed you. And USB micro is just a micro version of this. Micro USB is common, by the way, and is used on mobile devices such as phones, digital cameras. Mini USB is the mini version and is not really used anymore. So micro USB essentially replaced mini USB. It might get confusing to remember which one took over. Just remember, micro is what's up, guys. Unfortunately, you probably have to memorize these for the exam. I know it's gonna be a pain in the ass to memorize the speeds, but just try to keep these in mind, guys. Keep in mind, every time you see USB A 5 gigabits per second, automatically think of 3 and 3.1. If you see 3.1 generation 2, think about 10 gigabits per second. Might be a little difficult to memorize this, but create some flashcards and just go over this a couple of times and you will memorize it. So as you can see though, USB-C is a little bit faster than USB-A. So Gen 1 actually starts at 5 gigabits per second. We have generation 2.2 and generation 3.2, which, pretty much it just doubles in speed, guys. So generation 2 is going to be at 10 gigabits per second, generation 3.2, 20 gigabits per second. And with Gen 4, guys, doubles again to 40 gigabits per second. Okay, so lightning connector. I'm pretty sure you've seen this before. If you have an iPhone, I have an iPhone and I've always used lightning connector to charge my phone, do data transfer, etc. So this is proprietary to Apple. We don't see these anywhere else. It's used for data transfer and charging / power for Apple devices only. It's an 8-pin connector. You can actually see the pins here. I don't know if I could zoom in, but if you count the pins here, it's going to be 8. This can supply more power than micro USB. And the good thing about lightning connector that I actually like is it can be inserted either way. So that's a huge benefit to me because, I'm just going to plug it in. I don't feel like, plugging it in. I'm like, oh, it's not going in, I got to switch it and keep fiddling with it. This goes in either way. All right, so serial interfaces. Like I said, guys, serial interfaces are old. This is an older cable. It's still used today. Back in the day, this was the main cable type before USB. This was industry standard since the 1960s. I'm not sure when it ended. Very old, guys. I'm going to go here real quick. So the reason why serial interfaces are not really used today is because they're super slow. So the maximum speed is 115,200 bits per second, which equals less than 1 megabit per second, guys. This cable is slow. Here, it's commonly used the DB9 connector, and it transfers RS-232 signal. So RS-232 is a standard, guys, and it was commonly used in computer serial ports. USB did replace it, but we still use these serial interfaces, like I said, primarily nowadays to connect to various network devices, like switches, routers. You could connect a serial device to your computer, connect it to, for example, a switch. So I'm going to show you guys what I mean real quick. So I do have some network equipment here. I'm actually going to plug this in. I have a switch, but I also have a firewall. So what I will do is plug it into the console port. So keep this in mind. So I actually have a USB serial connector. It is not DB9, guys, but this is the same thing that you would do with these serial interfaces. I just want to show you guys so you guys could kind of know what I'm talking about when I say you can use it to connect to switches and routers. I connected this to a firewall via the serial interface. So pretty much what all this does is it just lets you connect. So if I get a switch or something like that and it's not set up yet and I can't access it remotely, what I'll do is I'll walk up to it, plug in my serial connection, and this will let me go inside the device. So what I have here, I'm just looking to see what COM port I'm using. So I'm using COM 3. That's going to be important to just connect here. So I'm going to choose serial here. You can see COM 1 is automatically selected, but I'm just going to do COM 3. I'm just going to open it. And the window popped up, but so here's the window. Bam. So it's letting me connect to the device physically. So I can log in, do whatever I need to do. And the device does not need to have an IP address, etc. So if something happens and you can't connect remotely, just walk up to it, plug in a serial interface. All right, so let's go ahead to the next slide, guys. Near field communication. Now, we've been over this, guys, already, but I'll go over it again just because it's in here. Pretty much, if you don't feel like paying with your card or anything like that at the store, this is actually used for other things like badge access. You put your badge next to a I don't know what those things are called, but it just, it beeps. You can go inside. You can pay for your groceries at the store with NFC as well. So this allows smartphones and other NFC devices to communicate when very near or touching. So that's what it means by near field communication. So this is point to point. It's not a PAN network or personal area network. It's just point to point. So this is not like Bluetooth where it creates a personal area network. And this is usually built into your phone or other devices. It does not need a separate add-on, guys. Pretty simple. Not much you need to know about NFC. Just remember for the test, if you have to go next to it, point to point, that's probably NFC. If they say anything about paying for groceries or badge access, probably NFC, guys. We've all probably done this at the store, or we had a badge to get access to work or something like that. All right, so NFC uses, like I said, making payments, communicating with peripherals, communicating between toys, and can be used in gaming. Good news is this does support encryption. So, if somebody manages to be in the middle of that communication somehow, they're using some kind of tool, they get that communication, could be encrypted, so no problem there. So I'm pretty sure we used Bluetooth before, if you have like a Bluetooth mouse, something like that, wireless mouse. If you play games, PS5 controller uses Bluetooth, Xbox controller uses Bluetooth. You have AirPods that use Bluetooth. So this is used for short range communication between devices. Remember 10 meters for Bluetooth, because you probably will be asked a question about the distances of each connection method on the exam. Now, I did not give a specific distance for NFC, but you just have to remember it's point to point. Bluetooth creates a PAN, personal area network. I'm not sure the distance between NFC. I know it has to be very near or touching, so just keep that in mind. I think it's 4 centimeters, 5 centimeters, something like that. But just remember, NFC is point to point. Bluetooth is 10 meters. Just in case you're asked, like I said, this is a personal area network. It is a high-speed personal area network and used to connect devices, multiple devices, like I mentioned, guys, lots of devices. Like probably any device that exists probably has Bluetooth that's not super old. So Hotspot, we kind of talked about this before, but you can turn your mobile device into a wireless network for other devices in the area. Hopefully just your device. You don't want anybody else using your hotspot, trying to be in the middle, trying to hack, stuff like that. 802.11 just means wireless. You will hear this a lot, guys. We'll talk about that in the network section. But remember, every time you hear 802.11, that's wireless. 802.11, memorize that, guys, because you will see it a lot. So hotspots are unsecured connections, and they can easily be hacked. So if somebody gets into your hotspot, that is not going to be good, guys. They could be in the middle. They could be, they could launch Wireshark, which is a program to sniff traffic. We'll talk about that, of course. I love that security stuff, but pretty much they can get the data, so it's not good if somebody else connects to your hotspot. One other thing to keep in mind is the hotspot does accrue additional charges. You'll be playing games outside in the park, something like that, using your hotspot online game for some reason. Not sure why, it's going to be slow, but whatever you're doing outside and you're going to do that all day, you're going to be having to pay a lot. Some phone plans do, they might have a set amount of money you pay per month, but just be careful if you do use hotspots. Always talk to your provider. Make sure you're not going to be, accruing a lot of charges, man. You don't want that. Oh man, another one. We talked about touch pens. Wait, did we? I don't remember. Oh man, I don't remember, guys. We're going to talk about it again if we did, but if this is the first time we are talking about it, it's good. So touch pen is also called a stylus. I'm sure you've heard of it. So if you're a millennial like me, guys, you remember the Nintendo DS. We had a touchpad, the touch screen at the bottom, deep. have that touch pen. You know, touch pens, every time you have a device with a touch screen, it might come with a touch pen, you just tap. You also probably seen these in the store, you know, when you're making a payment and you have to tap the screen, make a signature, something like that, but usually included with touchscreen systems. These are very useful for artists. So as you can see, if you look closely, you can see this little pen thing right here. Very accurate, guys. It's literally like you're drawing on a piece of paper with a real pen. So useful for artists, also useful for writing, signatures, navigating through an interface without the use of a mouse or touchpad. And styluses can be programmed to add additional functionality, guys. So I'm sure we're all familiar with headsets. It provides the ability to listen to audio content privately. So, you know, we might be listening to a song we're embarrassed to let others know we like, you know, so we gonna put us some headphones, you know, we're not gonna blast the music out too loud. But, you know, we also don't want to distract people. So, you know, we can listen to anything, you know, music, podcasts, video games. And if it comes with a mic, we can also use it for voice communication. So headsets can be connected through a wired connection. It's usually USB nowadays, but again, if you're a millennial like me, you remember these types of connections. You still might see these out there, guys. This thing right here, so these are called 3.55 millimeter audio jacks. So you might hear tip, ring, sleeve. All that means is if you look at this jack right here, you can see there's like a black thing here separating it. There's a black thing here separating it. This right here is the tip, and then this is going to be the ring, and then this is probably the sleeve. So the sleeve is at the very back, and the ring is whatever is in the middle. Whatever is pointing out is the tip. So there's different ones. We will talk about it in the next slide, of course, but just keep this in mind, guys. You might be asked about it. You can also, you know, with Apple devices, it does have headset, and you can connect it with the Lightning connector. So, you know, you can connect headsets with a lot of different things nowadays, even USB-C, guys. Keep that in mind as well. This can also be connected wirelessly with Bluetooth. So all you got to do is pair it to your device. Once paired, you just connect, and then you can listen. You probably, if you have AirPods or any wireless device, wireless audio device, you probably know about that. All right, so let's talk about this tip sleeve nonsense, guys. You probably see, you know, TS, TRS, TRRS. This just means tip sleeve, you know, tip sleeve. This is tip ring sleeve. And of course, this is tip ring sleeve. So these are different functionalities. Like I listed them here. So tip and sleeve provides only mono audio. So if you have a tip sleeve, you're not going to be listening to high quality sound. It's going to be mono, no stereo, guys. If you have a tip ring sleeve, it's only stereo. So there's no microphone on that connection. Tip ring sleeve includes a mic. As you can see, for a tip sleeve, there's one black thing here. Tip ring sleeve, there are two. Tip ring sleeve, there are three of them. So let's go here. So you can see the tip at the top. You can see the ring here, another ring, then the sleeve is at the bottom. So just keep this in mind for the exam. I'm really struggling to find where this is going to be useful in the real world, because I mean, like, you know, like if you want to try to find something with a mic, it's going to have a mic attached. Maybe for like a speaker you set on the desk and it has one of these, you might want to look to see if it has a tip ring sleeve. Maybe, you know, there's also a mic you could talk into, I guess. But I never had to deal with this. Just remember, tip and sleeve is mono only. If you have a tip ring sleeve, you have stereo audio. And TRRS, tip ring sleeve, you have a stereo with mic. So we're going to talk about speakers. So like headsets, speakers are connected with the same thing. Generally used if a computer or any other device has low quality audio and you want to hear high quality audio. This is dedicated to produce audio. That's the only function. So the audio, depending on the price, of course, but the audio will be a lot better than your laptop computer audio or monitor audio. You can also carry these depending on the brand and the type, but some of them have batteries you could take. So you can literally bring it somewhere, carry it around and listen to music, blast your music outside. You might upset some people, but whatever you do. I had crossed this out. I don't know what the heck I was writing down there, but that's not important. Obviously, it wasn't important because I didn't finish it. Just forgot to delete it. But now we're moving on to webcams. We've been over this. I know we've been over webcams. It's how we see video. Hello, guys. This is how I'm getting the video to you. Used for video capture. So this is generally connected using the Bluetooth, USB cable. Like we went over before, webcams can be internal or external, meaning you can have an external webcam like I have. Most laptops do have built-in webcams, but some of them might not be, good quality. So that's why most people might opt to use external webcams. Webcams are used for taking video, streaming, recording video, what I'm doing right now, video conferencing, what you do at work. All the guys sit at the desk, at that table, whatever y'all do. Whatever you do with webcams, guys. External webcams, like I said, can be very high quality. So, you can buy 4K webcams, which I plan to do, of course. Better than the internal webcam is built into the laptop. Devices that are built to do only one thing generally do that one thing very well. So if you have a laptop, of course, it has all these, things attached to it, has a lot of functions. The webcam might be lacking. It's not going to be the most important thing to focus on. So usually external webcams are a lot better choice if you're looking to get that high quality video. Okay, I swear we're almost done, guys. I did not include a practice quiz for this one since this one is so long, but I know I could do it in another video if you guys want some practice questions. I will make practice questions, like practice exams that you guys can take, which will include all of this. But now we're talking about docking stations. Docking stations are very useful, guys. They're used for laptops to easily connect your laptop to external devices, so like a mouse, keyboard, monitor, etc. So essentially what you do, guys, is you have this docking station here, and then what you do is you connect all your peripherals to this docking station itself. Then you take your laptop, and all you got to do, guys, is put your laptop on it, connect your laptop to this, and your laptop will appear on the monitors. It's like you physically plugged in the video cables to your laptop, but you plugged into the docking station. Your image will appear on the monitors. You'll have functionality with mouse and keyboard, whatever peripherals you did connect to it, you'll have all that functionality. And at the end of the day, let's say you want to switch seats, something like that, you just got to pick your laptop up, walk away, sit down at another desk, put your laptop there. So there's no unplugging that's going on when you use a docking station. All you do is connect it once to the docking station, and then you just put your laptop down on it, and then it's like everything is plugged into your laptop. So I also didn't mention this, but it does extend the existing laptop ports. So a laptop might have 2 USB ports, but if you need more, just plug it into this docking station. Your laptop has, you can use the 2 laptop ports plus how many ports is on the docking station. Let's say 5, for example. Docking stations, it is possible to add functionality to your laptop. So you can give the laptop similar features of a desktop that had to be left out. Like I said, easily disconnect and reconnect your laptop to multiple devices. And this has more functionality than a port replicator. So we will talk about port replicators. This is pretty much the same thing as a docking station, except it does not add additional functionality. All it is it extends the ports. So similar to a docking station, you can plug this into your laptop. Usually these are plugged in with USB-C. Plug in all the peripherals, monitors, whatever into this. Then you plug your laptop into it. And then, when you're done, you just take it out, walk away, whatever. Then you don't have to reconnect anything to your laptop. You just plug it into this once, then just plug this into your laptop, disconnect it when you're done. These are smaller than docking stations, and like I said, it does not provide as much functionality as docking stations. This just replicates the ports. So keep that in mind for the exam. Try not to get confused between the two. All right, so we're almost done, guys, almost done. If you remember digitizers from my previous video, this is like an external digitizer. I can buy one of these and plug it into my computer here. I can draw on the drawing pad and everything will come here. This is why you would want to get an external drawing pad, is if you have a computer like this, or maybe you have something that don't provide the functionalities of a digitizer. So you just get a drawing pad and then you can do everything. As you can see here, this guy has drawn this picture and he has his phone. You know, his phone is small, so it's probably easier to just use this drawing pad. Last thing, guys, is a touchpad. So if you have a laptop, you know what a touchpad is. You know, you put your finger on, it's just a mouse for the laptop. It's very common on laptops. It's used to replace mice. You can use multiple finger inputs, similar to like a phone touchscreen. If you use like a iPhone, for example, or any touchscreen phone, and you are trying to zoom in and out on the map, you know how to zoom in and out on the map. You like put your fingers and you pinch. You can do that to zoom out. Pretty much the same thing here with touchpads. You can right click and zoom in, zoom out. Has a whole bunch of functionality. A lot more functionality than we originally think. We think, you know, we could just move it around, but it does have additional functionality. But one thing to keep in mind, you know, you could get an external touchpad and use it on your desktop, for example. And these external touchpads, of course, usually connected via Bluetooth, but they can be wired as well, usually with USB. All right, guys, finally reached the end. I know this is a long video, but there was a lot to go over in this module. Hope you guys learned something, and I will be making another one soon. Don't forget to leave some feedback, guys, and I will see you in the next one. Thanks for watching. Peace.